I'm Nick King. I'm Insight Director at AutoTrader. AutoTrader, the biggest marketplace for cars, new and used in the UK. My role really is to try and take the huge amounts of data that we have, and we have a vast amount of data, and help our customers, who are retailers and manufacturers, understand the audience better and ultimately sell more cars and make it an easier process. We get around 10 to sometimes 11 million individuals coming onto AutoTrader every month, which is about 1 in 6 people on the planet in the UK, which is staggering. And there's 18, 90 million searches, huge amounts of data. And one of the things you do with AutoTrader is you put your postcode in. Postcodes delineate to 7 to 10 houses on one side of a road. So we can actually see, when you're looking, where you live, who you are, some basic demographic data. So what we do is we use this to actually inform our decision making. So if someone who's living in BR35LY, which will be a Bromley address, is looking at a certain vehicle, we begin to know and build a story about what you're looking for. When you're looking at certain cars, we also do what many other marketplaces do. People who looked at these types of cars also looked at other types of cars of similar. People who like these also like this. So we start to recommend cars which you may like. One of the key things we do is our search algorithm is so clever, it understands quite quickly, almost immediately, what you are looking for. If you search for a certain type of vehicle, it will use a whole load of different data, which I can't go into because it's proprietary. It's a bit like Google search. You don't know what makes you appear at the top of the rankings, but we have a very clever algorithm which makes sure that the cars you see are relevant to you. So it's called a relevancy search. You can change that, and you can search by price or age, but actually it finds cars which we think are going to be relevant to actually you. And in many cases, we tell from consumers, that was the right thing for me, and it made my search quicker. We all want things to be quicker now. We're all impatient. If we can help by using data to make it quicker for you, then the customer is happy. That's our consumers. We use data as well to help our retailers understand the market. So if we know from your postcode who's been looking for certain vehicles, we can see the demand for certain vehicles. So imagine you had Susan Motors and you were a Jaguar dealer, and it could be anything, a Fiat, any manufacturer. We can see what is the demand in your area for people looking for the cars you sell. We also know through data and understanding data, people who look at these cars also look at these cars too. So who's your competitor? So imagine you were a Mini dealer. People who look at Minis also look at, for example, Fiat 500s. Where are people looking for? I want to target people who look at Fiat 500s because they might want to look at a Mini as well. We could show you in a heat maps where your opportunity is for you to go and conquest. So it's using data really to help you understand your audience, find a new audience, and win. So omnichannel is a lovely word. It really simply means we think, is using multiple channels together, and do they work together? So in typical media planning, I used to be a media planner many, many years ago. It would be making sure that your message is across billboards, TV, cinema, radio, etc. across. But typically today, if I start my search on a mobile phone, and many people will, because that's our immediate access point, then I continue my search on a desktop or a laptop or a tablet. Does that story stay the same? Do I have to keep re-entering the same information? At the moment, actually, you do, because we don't want to have a closed wall environment where you have to give us too much information. If you have registered an account with us, which you can, and you want to save the cars you're looking at into, we call it a virtual garage, that will, every time you log in, whatever device you're on, you will go back to the journey you were on. So it's a lovely continuous omni-channel. But more concerning is, can I start my car buying journey online and do most of it online and then go and pick up the car? People don't just do everything online or do everything at the dealership. We all like to do our research because we can. But so we're working on it. We have a program, we have a tool, product, where you can, in principle, and it is working, find a vehicle, get a part exchange for the value of the car you want to part exchange, reserve the car you found, begin to talk about the finance, because finance can be a big complex discussion, and then turn up at the dealership and drive away in the car, rather than having to just find the car, turn up, and then have 3 hours with the business manager while they explain all the different options in finance. It could take hours. So this simplifies the process. What we see is on and offline sort of weaving together in like a flow. You're doing things all the way through. It's not just off, on, off. It's all the way through. So we're working on that because that's the way people want to do things. So one of the future trends, which the reason you see so many brand new cars in the UK used to be 30 years ago because they were company cars. It seemed to be only company car owners that could afford to have a brand new car because they're really expensive. But leasing has driven and enabled everyone to get into a brand new car, because when you're leasing, you're paying the depreciation really on the car. You pay a lot less for a brand new car. So leasing is certainly, with electric vehicles, is going to be a future. So we have a huge leasing product. We own Vanarama, which is a leasing company, bought them recently to actually enable it to make it easier for anyone to get into any car. The younger generation are more used to renting or leasing their phone, their subscriptions. Subscription isn't a dirty word anymore. It's normal. And you get it if you're leasing your iPhone, you get a new phone every couple of years. It's just like bang bang. You keep upgrading, and you're now on the iPhone 16. I know many people have the iPhone 16. Why can't you do that with a car too? Over 90% of new cars are bought on a lease or finance package, because what's it cost me a month? It costs me £300 a month, £400 a month for a brand new car. Why wouldn't you do that? I don't care if I don't own it. You don't need to own it anymore. It's a very old school attitude to, I want the. And actually, if you own the car, you're owning the depreciation, and actually you're owning a depreciating asset. It's almost a mad thing to do, to own a vehicle. Really, if you really think about it logically, no one should own vehicles because they depreciate. So that's one element, but that's an element which will change and is changing and evolving. It's fun. Well, yeah, actually, it's fun and you learn something, which is, and if that's all you take from it, great. I always walk away with something which I hadn't thought of. I've already got something this morning from the guy who's running N Brown, which was, we live in parallel, but we're all on the same thing, but we're in parallel lines, but we have different needs. I hadn't really thought of it that way before. Everyone could be looking at the same site in parallel, but they have different needs. Are you attracting people's different? So jobs to be done for different social demographic groups. They're different. Your needs when you're looking at shopping are different to my needs, but we look at the same site. How do we make sure that we are both serviced? I hadn't really thought of it that way before, and it's an obvious thing, isn't it? It's one of those, sometimes you get those like, oh wow, yeah, are we doing that? So I think great thing about these sessions are they're at nice locations, nice people. You always learn something, and they're fun to take part in.